Hi, I'm Grace Dalton. I'm the lead onboard scientist for the Around the Americas expedition. We're here in Victoria, BC right now. We just launched Saturday, and so we've been here for a few days now. And we are building our Quadrat. So our Quadrat is a data collection method that we're using for our kelp research along the West Coast. I'm here with Elena right now, and she has been very helpful giving us the specs for the Quadrat, and she's also trained me quite a bit in the kelp research as well. So I can let her talk a bit more about the details of the Quadrat and how we're doing it.
You're both University of Victoria?
Yes.
Okay, so just right over across the way here.
Just right here.
So close. So we've met up a couple of times to do some training sessions. I'm Elena Watchman. I'm with the Spectral Remote Sensing Lab at UVic under supervision of Dr. Maciera Costa. I'm doing my master's, doing kelp mapping stuff on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and using a lot of the same methods that you guys are using. And so it'll be nice. There's some continuity in there. And so one of the methods that we use is this Quadrat. And essentially what you use it for is for observing species diversity as well as substrate outside at the edge and inside kelp forests to see how they differ across space as well as at the individual ecosystem level.
Exciting. So we just can't buy one of these things?
No, you have to build it. It's made of PVC pipes, and you build it into a pyramid shape, kind of, if I'm describing that correctly yet. And we will have two GoPros mounted on it, one facing down and also one facing more horizontally. And we'll take video, we'll drop them down at the kelp sites. It will take videos, as Elena described, of the bottom and also horizontally to show us different things. And we'll get some pretty cool imagery out of it.
And it's nice because you have a fairly as close as possible 1 meter by 1 meter Quadrat, so you're able to measure the size of the substrate, so how big your rocks are, size of urchins or other species down there too, and it's like a nice standardized method. And you do a bunch of different tosses at a site to collect as much data as possible.
So our mechanical engineer Mike Beamer and Mark Schrader and I, we will create the Quadrat. Elena here has very helpfully given us all the specs on how to create it. There's a whole Google Docs on what we need to buy and what we need to do. So we're going to build that, and then we're going to drop it at some kelp sites this Thursday. We're going to do some practice, get some stuff under our belt, and see some pretty cool imagery.
Super cool. So because I'm the engineer and not the scientist, how many times at each kelp site are we going to send this to the bottom?
So I like to do it normally 12 times. And so as best as possible, obviously if you're deploying it off the boat itself, it's tough for you guys to get right into the kelp forest.
Well, we had our dinghy boat.
Oh, okay, excellent. Well, there we go. So that's going to be really helpful. So I like to do 4 replicates outside the kelp bed, 4 at the edge, as best as you can determine the edge of the floating kelp canopy, and then 4 inside as best as you can. I say as best as you can because obviously if it's really dense and you're throwing it in there, it's just going to get tangled up. So it's nice to try and find little gaps in the canopy that you can throw it down into. And I like using 4 as well because generally triplicates is awesome in science, but having an extra one in there, sometimes the camera gets knocked and it goes off, sometimes it gets tangled up, and you don't know until afterwards when you pull it back up and you review the footage that something went wrong, so you have a little bit of buffer room there.
Very cool.
Excellent. Well, I think we should go build one of these and then go out to our first site and see how it works.
Toss it in the water.
All right. Well, thanks for letting us know what's going on with this stuff. It's going to be so much fun. Again, how many the whole kelp, how many sites are we going to do?
We're going to do roughly about 40 sites along the West Coast.
West Coast of?
North and South America, from Alaska all the way to
whole thing, that's right.
Yes, the whole comprehensive study of the West Coast.
Excellent. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go do it. Okay. Well, as Grace said, box of parts, some PVC pipe down there, 3 lengths. We got a cutter and glue. We're making one of these kelp research tools. Love making tools. As the onboard engineer here on One Ocean, Look at this. What a good looking boat. How fun is this? And I can't imagine a much nicer setting. Right here, there's the Empress Hotel. Whoop. Over there, the Parliament building. Here in Victoria, beautiful. So why not? Let's figure this out. So we have this. It's looking really nice. Our 1 meter square. Captain Mark here. So we need 2 GoPros is what the scientist told us. You think we can do that?
I think we can with this mount, but here's what has to happen with this mount. If we're going to go down,
I know, that's why we made it big, right? So we can off-center it a little bit.
Mount really works best if there's a cross piece here.
Yep, and that's where we can mount that cross piece wherever it needs to be.
Otherwise, if we mount it here, we don't really have enough room.
We don't get it centered.
Getting it centered.
Okay, so we can
centered. We need to do
drill
this
and bolt it there.
and do that, and we could leave one end long then, so you can get the horizontal view.
Correct. Well, horizontal can go like right here.
Okay,
because it's
good.
coming up.
Right. Okay, so I think we have to go cross instead of diagonal.
I would agree with that.
And I think we do it just about so that these touch the elbow, because with this over here like that, you're in the middle.
The middle's what they want.
Okay, middle's what they want then. That's where this piece goes. We
Okay.
drill it there.
And then I think on the sides, what do you think? We'll drill with removable bolts, top and bottom.
Here and there, so that this can come out. That way we can store these pieces separately, the frame, you know, in one plane, standing up somewhere, and this in one plane. So it all collapses. I think that works.
I think it
I just
works.
want to make sure that this...
We'll have to tie up a little bridle so it goes up and down even.
Yeah. No.
That was a success. So we're pretty much ready to go. We've drilled all of our holes to make this removable. So the top segment comes off, bottom segment, 4 pipes, we store it flat. The only thing we couldn't find is we had to buy long bolts. We couldn't find wing nuts, but we're using these eye bolts just before we launch, and so we're going to get wing nuts to put on here. These are long, that's what we had to get, but we've got our trusty grinder right here, so you know we'll be. Except it's getting late here in Victoria. We're in Canada, and so we're not going to make noise tonight. So tomorrow we'll finish this up. We'll chop those bolts off. We have to build a bridle, so we're going to have this ring right here with our lifting gear. We got our camera centered GoPro looking down 1 meter square. We'll put the second camera that does the view panoramic, you know, looking at the kelp that direction. We'll have a clip on this. We were up here at the Marine Chandlery, and we love Victoria. They have everything we need. We got floating line, which will go on here, and the whole assembly will be ready to go. In a couple days, we're going to go try this out. We're going to drop it in the ocean. We got some of the researchers and other scientists coming in the morning to make sure we did our work properly, but we're feeling pretty solid about this. And so I think, Captain, can we put a Made in Canada sticker on this?
Oh, I think that's the last thing we should do.
I mean, it is similar to our solar panels and our Seawise davits and a lot of stuff on the boat. I think it should go on like maybe right up here.
Perfect. Yes.
What do you think?
I think that's good. If we did this at the right time, the O Canada song would be playing at the Parliament House.
I know, wouldn't that be spectacular? But look at this. Nonetheless, we're taking this all the way around the Americas. Bam.
All right.
Perfect. Let's go put this in the water and go see how it works.
So here we are dropping the Quadrat off the side of One Ocean. It is a 1 meter square at the bottom. We have a camera facing down and a camera facing horizontal to view the underneath of the kelp forest and also the bottom of the kelp forest. This gives us what substrates are attached to the kelp forest. It gives us what animals are down there, what creatures, invertebrates, vertebrates, sea urchins, all that fun stuff. It also helps us measure how big things are. And here, there's no kelp here, it's just a test trial, but we will go find some kelp. Quadrat testing went amazing in Sydney Spit. Dropped it overboard a few times. It went well. Now we just gotta go find some kelp. So like and subscribe, comment away, and thank you for watching.